Hey guys, today we're going to talk about another ancient river valley civilization in China. Okay, so just like our other river valley civilizations, they are isolated and protected from their physical features. And those two things kind of allow them to be as successful as they were. Okay, um, so a little background about China first, kind of where it is, where it's located. Last unit we were down here in India, and we are going to take a step up here in China. Um, in ancient China and the river valley is going to be along two major rivers, okay? The Huanghe River and the Yangtze River, okay? So China itself is larger than the United States, okay? It's the largest country in Asia in modern day. Um, and in the beginning, the Chinese people that lived there didn't even know that there were other ancient civilizations around them because they were so isolated from the world by these natural barriers. Okay, so the river valley, just like it did in India, provided them, with all the fertile land they needed, all the protection. But it did have a negative impact for these people to an extent, right? Because they are so isolated by the deserts out here, by the Himalayan mountains, kind of to the south, in the Pacific Ocean over here in the east, that they didn't even think that there were other people alive aside from their civilization. So obviously you can't do this on your own, but how could this be similar to the Indus River Valley? All right, and I kind of just gave you that answer there for a second. Okay, so China is ruled by dynasties. All right, so China's civilization is going to span kind of the longest period of time, thousands of years. And during this time, China was ruled by these different dynasties. And as you guys might be familiar with, a dynasty is just a bunch of rulers from the same family. Okay, so and when a different family kind of takes control, a newer dynasty begins. Okay, so if you look at the Yang dynasty, all right, you have kind of one person up here at the top, and this is the family tree. So all of these people would be in succession to rule at some point. Okay. Okay. Now, just because you were in a dynasty did not necessarily mean that you had the freedom to kind of do whatever you want. All right. They believed in something called the mandate of heaven. And the Chinese believed that this is what gave the rulers the right to be the king or the emperor. All right. And they said that the heavens or the gods have blessed this person with the right to rule. Okay. And the ruler must be good and fair in order to keep this mandate of heaven. And if a dynasty were to lose power or another family was to kind of take control, then they had lost that mandate of heaven. All right. And this is kind of the cycle over here with how it goes. Okay, so you can see it's kind of like a circle in terms of how something would change, right? We have a new dynasty being born, and the entire circle works its way around to a new emperor becoming in charge, right? That is called the dynastic cycle. All right. So much like in India, where we have these kind of two different religions, in China, we have different philosophies that they lived their lives by. Okay. Confucianism, legalism, and Taoism. Okay. So Confucianism is really about keeping peace and keeping order, right? They believed that if everyone had a role in society, and if they fulfilled that role, then there would be peace and harmony in the world. Okay. Um, and to do this, Confucius, the guy who created Confucianism, right, it's very well named, they believed that the most important responsibilities that you had as a child were to respect and listen to your parents and to your elders. Okay, he kind of sees a lot of these issues in the world with like how people are acting, how they're treating one another. So he kind of establishes this guideline to how you should live your life. Now, again, you can't do this on your own, but a little quote from the last slide: everyone had a role in society, and if they fulfilled it, then there would be peace and harmony. So, what might this sound like that we have already discussed? All right, so you can just pause it and ponder that for a second. All right, and obviously, this sounds kind of familiar from ancient India, right? With the caste system talking about everyone having a role. And then with Buddhism, where we're really focused around peace and harmony, you're going to see a lot of similarities between that religion of Buddhism and the next few places that we study. Okay. So our next philosophy is Taoism. All right. It's created by a man named Lao Tzu. Okay. And Lao Tzu taught that a force known as the Tao is alive and is represented in all living things. The most important thing that people can do is to reject their worldly possessions and their desires and their aspirations and things like that. And instead, the goal is to embrace nature. All right. And many people in China today practice both Confucianism and Taoism, right? They try to find peace with the people around them, their family, and also peace with nature and their natural environment. So, kind of two different things. All right. Um, and Taoism really teaches you how to behave, within yourself, personally. All right. And again, you can't, if you're watching this on your own, you can't necessarily do this, but you can ponder it on your own. Can you think of a religion that is similar to both Taoism and Confucianism, and how might they be similar? So you can pause it here for a second and think. All right. And obviously, the religion is going to be Buddhism. Okay. If we're focused on peace with myself and the natural world, that sounds very, very similar to a religion that came out of the Indus River Valley in Buddhism. All right. And then finally, we have kind of the opposite of those two philosophies. All right. Called legalism. All right. And legalists believe that society functions best through like super strong government control. Okay, and they believe that people should be obedient to authority and they shouldn't question it. And laws are created that give super strict punishments and rewards for behavior. So there's an emperor called Shi Huangdi. He's from the Qin dynasty, and he would ban books about histories of China's past rulers and ideas. And things that were written about these other philosophies that might have painted them in a good light. He really believed that you needed to have a really super strong government and no one should be able to speak out about it. All right. And laws were really strict and you had to do what you were told at all times. Okay. So that's going to wrap up our first part of this presentation. Thanks for watching and let me know if you have any questions.